Welcome, traveler. You found the slumbering cosmos. Tonight, we drift through the solar system. All of it. From the burning heart of our star, out past the last cold worlds, to the very edge of everything the sun can touch. There is nothing you need to do. There is nothing you need to remember. If you fall asleep somewhere past Jupiter, that's perfectly fine. The universe will still be here tomorrow. It's very patient that way. So make yourself heavy. Let your shoulders sink into the bed. Let your jaw soften. Let the day, whatever it held, dissolve behind you like a wake behind a slow ship. Take one deep breath in and let it go. Tonight you have no schedule, no messages, no obligations. You're simply a passenger. Our ship is imagination, and it is silent, and it is warm, and it cannot crash, and it never runs out of fuel. Outside your window, the dark, but not an empty dark. A dark that is full of quiet giants, sleeping storms, rings of ice, and small frozen worlds that have never once been in a hurry. We'll visit them all slowly. Let's begin. Close your eyes and picture the earth falling away beneath you. Not quickly, not like a rocket launch with all that noise and shaking. This is different. You simply rise the way a bubble rises through honey. Gently, steadily. The city lights below you gather into golden webs. Then the webs shrink into glowing threads. Then the threads fade into the soft blue curve of the planet, wrapped in its thin veil of air. That fragile layer where every breath you've ever taken has lived. The sky around you darkens from blue to violet to a black so deep and clean it feels like velvet. And then silence. Real silence. The kind that exists nowhere on Earth. In that silence, you turn your ship toward the center of everything. Toward the one object that holds this whole neighborhood together. We're going to see the sun. From your safe distance, the sun is not the small bright coin you know from Earth's sky. It is an ocean of light, hanging in the darkness with no shore anywhere. It is so large that more than 1,000,000 Earths could dissolve into it and be lost. And yet, up close, its surface is gentle to watch. It shifts and breathes like slow water. Granules of golden plasma rise, glow, and sink again, each one the size of a country, moving with all the urgency of a kettle just barely warming. Great arcs of fire lift off its surface and curve back down, following invisible lines of magnetism, like solar tides rolling in slow motion. Some of them are taller than 30 Earths, stacked end to end. They rise over hours. They fall over days. Nothing here rushes. The light touching your window right now left the sun's core long ago. It spent perhaps 100,000 years wandering outward through the dense interior, bouncing from atom to atom, patient beyond imagining. And then it crossed the last edge and flew free, and 8 minutes later, it arrived here to warm your face through the glass. The sun has been doing this steadily, without a single missed day, for 4.5 billion years. You could trust a thing like that. You could sleep near a thing like that. Let it warm you a moment longer. Then we drift on to the smallest and swiftest of the worlds. Mercury, a small gray world, hurrying around the sun on tiny, quick feet. And yet, on its own surface, time has almost stopped. Here is Mercury's secret. Its day is longer than its year. It circles the sun in 88 Earth days, but it turns so slowly that a single sunrise to sunrise day lasts 176. If you stood on its surface, you could watch the sunrise last for hours. The sun would swell over the horizon, pause, and in certain places even appear to slide backward, as if it had changed its mind before rising again. Mercury's face is covered in craters, like the moon's, each one a memory of something that happened billions of years ago and never needed to be repaired. There is no wind here to wear them down, no rain, no seasons. A footprint on Mercury could outlast every building on Earth. And in the shadows of its polar craters, where sunlight has never reached, not once in billions of years, there is ice. Quiet, ancient ice, sleeping a few hundred kilometers from the fiercest sunlight in the solar system. Even this close to the fire, the universe finds places to keep things cool and still. We pull away now. Mercury shrinks to a spark behind us. Ahead, wrapped in cream-colored clouds, the brightest planet of them all. Venus. From here, she is beautiful, a smooth pearl, glowing softly, the brightest thing in Earth's evening sky after the moon. Sailors used to steer by her. Poets named her after love. Her clouds hide a fierce world below, hot and heavy and utterly unlike our own. But we don't need to go down there tonight. Tonight we stay up here where Venus is gentle and watch her clouds instead. They move in great slow rivers of pale gold. The whole cloud deck circles the planet in just 4 Earth days, a silent, planet-wide current, forever flowing, with no one below to watch it. And Venus turns backward. Alone among the inner worlds, she rotates in reverse, so slowly that her day is longer than her year. If you could float in her high clouds, and the temperature up there is almost Earth-like, almost kind, you would see the sun rise in the west, very slowly, taking its time, as everything does tonight. A backward world, wrapped in gold, named after love. Let her drift behind us now, because the next world ahead is one you know very, very well. There it is. Earth, your home. Everyone's home. From out here, it is so small you could cover it with your thumb. A blue marble swirled with white, hanging in the dark with nothing holding it up. Nothing but gravity's soft, invisible hand. Every ocean you have ever swum in is in that blue. Every rainstorm that ever kept you indoors is somewhere in those white swirls. Every person you have ever loved, every person anyone has ever loved, lives inside that thin, bright crescent of light and water. From here, you can't see borders. You can't see traffic or deadlines or arguments or bills. You can't even see cities. You can only see a small, warm world doing what it has always done, turning slowly in the sunlight, carrying its oceans and forests and sleeping people around the sun, one patient year at a time. Right now, on the night side of that little sphere, millions of people are doing exactly what you're doing. Lying in the dark, breathing slowly, letting go of the day. You're in good company tonight. Look at it a moment longer. Home, glowing quietly in the void. Now, just beside it, its gray companion. The moon. It has been circling the Earth for over 4 billion years, the most faithful companion in the solar system, always showing us the same face, like an old friend who never turns away. Its surface is silver and still, plains of ancient lava, frozen into smooth, dark seas. The sea of tranquility, the sea of serenity, the ocean of storms where no storm has ever blown. The people who named them thought they were real oceans. In a way, the names came true. They are oceans of stillness. 12 human beings have walked there. Their footprints are still crisp in the dust, and they will stay crisp for millions of years, because the moon has no wind to sweep them away. The moon keeps what it's given, and all the while, quietly it pulls on our oceans, breathing the tides in and out twice a day like the slow respiration of the sea. It has rocked this planet like a cradle since before there was anyone to rock. Tonight, somewhere above your roof, it is doing it still. We turn outward now, away from home, toward the rust-colored light of the next world out. Mars, the red one, the small, cold, rusty world that human beings simply cannot stop thinking about. Its color comes from iron. The whole planet is gently rusted, like an old key left out in the rain for 1 billion years. Its deserts stretch on and on, rose-colored and silent, under a butterscotch sky. Mars is a museum of enormous things. A volcano called Olympus Mons, 3 times the height of Everest, so wide that if you stood on its summit, its base would be beyond the horizon in every direction. A canyon, Valles Marineris, that would stretch from one side of the United States to the other. All of it still, all of it finished. Nothing on Mars has erupted or flooded for a very long time. The planet has done its great works, and now it rests. In the evenings, the sunsets on Mars are blue. The dust in the air scatters the light the opposite way to ours. So as the sun sinks over those rose-colored deserts, the sky around it glows a soft, cool blue. A blue sunset over a red world. And here and there, in the dry riverbeds and ancient lake bottoms, Mars remembers water. Long ago, rain fell here. Rivers ran. Perhaps something stirred in those waters, perhaps not. Mars keeps that secret for now, the way all good storytellers hold something back. Little rovers roll across its surface as we pass, patient as tortoises, humming to themselves, the only moving things on an entire world. Sleep well, little machines. Onward now. The road ahead is long and scattered with stones. Between Mars and Jupiter lies the Asteroid Belt, and it is nothing like the movies. Films show spaceships dodging boulders. The truth is softer and lonelier and much more beautiful. The asteroids are so far apart that if you stood on one, you would likely never see another. Millions of quiet stones, each one drifting in its own private orbit, separated by such enormous distances that our ship glides through the whole belt without ever needing to turn. These are the leftovers, the bricks that never became a planet. Jupiter's great gravity stirred this region long ago, and so the stones simply stayed as they were, unfinished, unbothered, circling the sun for 4.5 billion years like notes of music that never needed to become a song. Among them floats one round little world, Ceres, a dwarf planet of rock and ice, with a single bright spot of salt shining in one of its craters like a nightlight left on. There is something restful about the belt. Not everything has to become something. Some things just get to be. We drift on, and ahead of us, the darkness begins to gather itself into something enormous. Jupiter. Nothing prepares you for the size of it. Jupiter is not just the largest planet. It is larger than all the other planets combined, twice over, and still with room to spare. As you approach, it stops being an object in the sky and becomes the sky, and it is painted. Vast bands of cloud wrap the whole world. Cream and caramel and rust and rose and white. Each stripe a jet stream wider than the earth, flowing east or west, sliding past its neighbors for millions of years. Where the bands meet, the clouds curl into slow spirals and scrolls, like cream stirred into coffee by someone in no hurry at all. And there, the great red spot, a storm wider than our entire planet, spinning gently counterclockwise, and it has been spinning since at least the 1600s. When Newton was alive, this storm was already old. Every rotation takes about 6 days. It is the calmest looking violence in the universe. From here, it is simply a rose turning in slow motion. Jupiter has no surface at all. If you sank into it, the clouds would just thicken and thicken and deepen tens of thousands of kilometers down until gas became liquid without ever giving you a floor. It is not a place. It is a weather that became a world. Listen, you can almost feel its gravity holding the ship, the way a large, calm animal holds still while you rest a hand on its side. Jupiter is the solar system's guardian. Its huge gravity has been quietly catching comets and shepherding asteroids for billions of years, keeping the inner worlds, including yours, a little safer, a little quieter. The giant is on watch tonight. You can stand down. Around the giant, a family of moons, 95 of them and counting, and 4 of them are worlds in their own right. Io, closest in blushing yellow and orange, painted by its own volcanoes, the most geologically restless body in the solar system. Even restlessness from a distance looks like a lava lamp, slow, warm, hypnotic. Then Europa, smooth, white, and secretive. Europa is an ice world wrapped around a hidden ocean, an ocean with more water than all of Earth's seas combined, kept liquid in the dark by the gentle kneading of Jupiter's tides. Beneath kilometers of ice, that water has been lying still and dark for 4 billion years. If life is swimming slowly down there, it has never seen a star, and it doesn't miss them. Ganymede, next. The largest moon in the solar system, bigger than the planet Mercury, with its own magnetic field, like a little planet that decided to orbit a bigger one for company. And finally Callisto, dark and quiet, its face so crowded with ancient craters that there is no room for a single new one. Nothing has happened on Callisto for billions of years. Callisto is the most rested object in the solar system. For lanterns circling a giant, each keeping its own kind of peace. We slip past them now, outward, toward the jewel of the whole system. Saturn. Even the astronauts, even the scientists who have spent their whole lives on this, when they see Saturn through a telescope for the first time, they tend to go quiet. A soft, golden world, lighter than water, wrapped in rings so wide and so thin they seem impossible. From edge to edge, the rings would stretch most of the way from the Earth to the Moon. And yet, in most places, they're only about 10 meters thick. The height of a house, a sheet of light hundreds of thousands of kilometers across. And they are not solid. Come closer. Closer still. The rings dissolve into their truth. Billions upon billions of pieces of ice, some like dust, some like pebbles, some like small houses, every single one on its own orbit, every single one a tiny moon, all of them circling together in almost perfect silence. Occasionally, two of them touch, softly, like ice cubes in a glass at the end of an evening, and drift apart again. Sunlight passes through the rings and casts pale, banded shadows onto Saturn's golden clouds. The shadows slide across the planet as it turns, like light through Venetian blinds moving slowly across a bedroom wall in the late afternoon. If you could hold Saturn over an ocean, an impossibly large ocean, it would float. The great ring jewel of the solar system is lighter than water. Some facts are not useful. They're just nice to hold as you fall asleep. Saturn turns. The rings hum their silent, frozen music. The shadows slide. There's no reason to leave quickly, so we won't. When we do drift on, it is to a world that almost nobody visits. Uranus, pale calm, and turned entirely on its side. Long ago, something enormous must have struck this planet, and instead of shattering, Uranus simply leaned all the way over. Now it rolls around the sun like a ball rather than spinning like a top. Its seasons last 21 years each. At its poles, the sun rises once every 84 years, one sunrise per human lifetime. Its color is a soft, uniform, dreamlike teal, the gentlest color in the solar system, the color of sea glass, of a nursery wall, of the sky, just before you stop being able to tell it's still blue. For a long time, astronomers thought Uranus was featureless, a world where nothing happened at all, a world with nothing to report. Perhaps that is its gift. Somewhere out here, 2 billion kilometers from every alarm clock, every headline, every hurrying thing on Earth, there is a calm cyan world lying on its side, rolling slowly through the dark with nothing to report. Rest like Uranus rests, completely and without apology. One more giant waits out at the edge of the wind. Neptune, the last of the giants, and the bluest thing you will ever see. A deep, saturated, dreaming blue, darker than Earth's blue, richer, the blue of the ocean at the depth where sunlight becomes a rumor. Neptune is so far from the sun that it has completed only one orbit since we discovered it. Out here, high noon is just a very bright twilight. The sun is only a piercing star among stars. And yet Neptune is not still. The fastest winds in the solar system race through its clouds, over 2,000 kilometers per hour, But with almost nothing to strike, out here even fury turns to smoothness, and the great blue face shows only long, soft streaks of white cirrus, gliding like slow brushstrokes. Around its circles Triton, a captured moon that orbits backward, an adopted world, taken in long ago from the deep beyond, now settled and secure. Its surface is pink nitrogen ice, and here and there, gentle geysers breathe plumes of dark mist into the thin air. Even the eruptions at the edge of the solar system are quiet ones. Neptune was found not by looking, but by mathematics, by noticing that something invisible was gently tugging on Uranus and trusting that if something pulls, something is there. Even before we saw it, the solar system's farthest giant made itself known only as a kindness of gravity, a soft correction, a hand on a shoulder. The sun's warmth barely reaches here, but its light still does, and its hold still does. Beyond Neptune, the worlds get small and cold and countless. Welcome to the Kuiper Belt, the solar system's attic. Out here, past all the planets, circle millions of small icy worlds, the untouched leftovers of the very beginning, still in their original wrapping, 4.5 billion years old and perfectly preserved by the cold. And among them, of course, Pluto, little Pluto with its enormous heart, a bright, smooth glacier of nitrogen ice, shaped almost perfectly like a heart, spread across its face where anyone approaching can see it. When our one visiting spacecraft flew past in 2015, after 9 years of travel, this is what Pluto chose to show us first. The heart is alive in its own slow way. Its nitrogen ice churns gently, rising and sinking over the centuries, erasing every crater, keeping itself smooth and new. A heart that repairs itself, out at the coldest edge of everything. Pluto and its large moon share and face each other forever, tidally locked, holding one another's gaze as they waltz around the sun once every 248 years. Whatever else changes, wherever the rest of the universe hurries off to, these two keep their slow appointment. The sun, from here, is just the brightest star in an endless field of stars. If you held up your thumb, you couldn't cover it. It's far too small for that now. But it still shines. It still holds. Even Pluto, even out here, has never once drifted away. You're held like that too by more things than you know. One last stretch of road remains, the longest one and the quietest. Far beyond Pluto, a small spacecraft is flying tonight. Voyager 1, launched in 1977, built to last 5 years, still whispering home after nearly 50. It is the most distant human-made object in existence, so far away that its radio messages, traveling at the speed of light, take almost a full day to reach us. Its signal arrives with less power than a snowflake landing, but it arrives. Voyager has left the sun's wind behind. It has crossed into interstellar space, where the breath of our star finally fades into the breath of all the other stars. It carries a golden record with greetings in 55 languages, the sound of rain, a heartbeat, and a kiss, in case someday someone finds it. It will drift for millions of years. Long after all of us, it will still be out there, carrying that heartbeat among the stars. There is nothing to fear in that. It is simply the farthest lullaby ever sung. And here, where the sun's influence finally dissolves into the galaxy, our journey ends. Look back the way we came. Everything we've visited tonight. The patient sun, slow Mercury, backward Venus, your small blue home, the faithful moon, rusted Mars, the unfinished stones, the guardian Jupiter and his lantern moons, Saturn and its rings of quiet ice, Uranus lying calmly on its side, blue Neptune, Pluto with its glacier heart. All of it fits from here inside a single soft glow around one ordinary star. It has all been circling gently for 4.5 billion years. It will also be circling when you wake. Nothing out here needs anything from you tonight. The planets will keep their orbits. The rings will keep their silence. Voyager will keep flying, and the golden record will keep its heartbeat safe. You can let go now. Breathe in slowly and out even more slowly. The cosmos is slumbering, and so are you. Good night, traveler. Sleep among the stars.